This is TWiT.
And sadly, Leo, 4 deaths have now been ascribed to the incident due to doctors needing to wait for lab results to arrive via courier since all electronic channels are down.
This is a heinous crime. Murder.
Yep. And reports are that during the cyber attack, files were being renamed to include the .ryk extension, the Ryuk ransomware hallmark.
Wow. Based
on some information that was shared with Bleeping Computer by Vitaly Kremez of Advanced Intel, the attack on UHS systems likely started through a phishing attack.
Mm-hmm.
According to Vitaly, their Andariel they have something they call the Andariel intelligence platform, detected both the Emotet and TrickBot Trojans affecting UHS Inc. throughout 2020 and more recently this month. The Emotet Trojan is spreading via phishing emails containing malicious attachments that install the malware on a victim's computer. After some time, Emotet will also install TrickBot, which ultimately opens a reverse shell to the Ryuk operators after harvesting sensitive information from compromised networks. Once the Ryuk actors manually get access to the network, they start reconnaissance. And after gaining admin credentials, they deploy ransomware payloads on network devices using PSExec or PowerShell Empire. In other words, the way this is being done is well understood.
Yeah.
It's no mystery at all.
So they knew about it. But is there so much malware wandering around that you see a few emotets, you go, there's just some more emotets.
Yeah, exactly. And much like the APT, that remember the Advanced Persistent Threat that gave Sony Entertainment so much trouble all those years ago, I would argue, to answer your question, it's virtually impossible to secure anything that's as sprawling as a 400 facility network where everybody has PCs with email and all of their workstations are tied in order to be able to do their job. I don't know how you possibly make that secure. UHS put out a statement to the public saying the IT network across Universal Health Services facilities is currently offline due to an IT security issue. We implement extensive IT security protocols and are working diligently with our IT security partners to restore IT operations as quickly as possible. In the meantime, our facilities are using their established backup processes, including offline documentation methods. Patient care continues to be delivered safely and effectively, those 4 deaths notwithstanding. No patient or employee data appears to have been accessed or copied or otherwise compromised. So, that was the standard publicly traded entity CYA notice. But, there was that huge outage in the UK that brought down its health system. And here we have, a massive event.
They're probably attacking hospitals because of that precise issue, which is you've got a lot of different computers with a lot of different operating systems in a variety of different patch states.
And a hierarchy of training of employees.
Right.
And remember, I mentioned that last week there was an item that I didn't get into the show notes that talked about how studies have shown that do not click that link training fades after about 6 months.
Yeah.
So you put everyone through training, and then it's for for a while, people are being diligent. But then in comes that email from Aunt Martha, and it's and you reach out.
And I guess no scanner can stop all threats. I mean, you try to stop malware from coming in via email at all, right?
Well, and the problem is the unknown threats. We'll be talking about zero login in a minute. That is now 8 weeks old, and 3 instances of zero login malware were found uploaded to VirusTotal. Only a little over half of VirusTotal's scanners, it's like 73 of them, today, because I reran the scans last night, they got like 43 out of 73 hits.
I've said this all along. No antivirus is more than 50 or 60% accurate.
And that's the problem, is that because you're able to use encryption, because you're able to dynamically encrypt each instance of the malware so that there's no pattern, if you can't decrypt it when it goes through your scanner, as we've often said, proper encryption turns a file into maximum entropy noise. There is no pattern to be seen. Mm-hmm. So, it's a scourge. It's nothing less than that.
Yeah, and there's also this whole thing about the delay, the advanced persistent threat thing, the delay between the time you get into the system's compromised, and the time you trigger the ransomware. That time can be used to figure out what the backup strategies are, to figure out where the backups are stored, and to put malware on those systems. I mean, if you have time, and then of course, lately, exfiltrate information that you can then also use in the blackmail. Say, well, maybe you've got backups, but we still have all your customer data that we're going to release, and we're seeing that happen a lot lately.
And it's easy to say, oh, well, why don't they have egress filtering? They should be doing, like bandwidth monitoring. Okay, how do you do that at 400 individual facilities?
Yep.
I mean, some are going to be, extended care facilities. Some are going to be, they're just a spectrum of different profiles, and something gets in, and sits quietly on a machine in the corner and waits until the evening when no one's around and begins to reach out and explore.
And they mentioned their radiology system, their PACS radiology system, dollars to no donuts. That's running XP embedded or something else ancient.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And it's not air gapped or it wouldn't be down.
Right. Well, and Leo, it wouldn't be useful if it were air gapped.
And it wouldn't be useful
because those big CAT scans are huge files, high resolutions, multi-slice. They're big files. They have to be on the network in order to schlep those files around.
Right. Yikes!
No, it's
terrifying, and it's unconscionable. I mean, the people who are doing this, obviously, money means more to them than human lives. It's very sad.
Well. And they hate the U.S. I think it's fair to say.
Oh, you think it's also political? Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
If not political, it's not in terms of like presidential race political, probably. But we know Russia is not a friend of the U.S.
Right.
And a lot of this ends up getting traced back to formally sponsored attacks, and it is weird too, because when I read about known Chinese state-sponsored attacks, I think, really? We know this, and we're doing nothing about it? The only thing I can think is that we're doing it just, against them just as much as they are against us.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, in that case, it's not like we're running around being Boy Scouts and everybody else is, throwing
I wonder if
at
at some point there won't be a cyber Geneva Convention where we agree that it's just too dangerous to use these weapons on each other. And
like a form of the fact that nuclear arms have not been used since they were first used, because everyone said, okay, look,
it's mutually assured
not all
destruction.
Just nuke each other.
Yeah. It's getting to be like that, where it's just escalating. Cyber warfare is the long-term threats, even the short-term threats, are not good.
Well, and everyone's society is becoming increasingly dependent upon it. It is it is incredible. We're about to talk about what may not be incredibly useful technology, this flying spy cam, but most of it is, really important. I mean, think about it. Everyone listening to this podcast is able to think, I wonder what, blank, whatever, fill it in, and go duck it, and or Google it.
You can't say go duck it. No one knows what. I was like, what is he having a stroke?
Yeah, exactly.
Go duck it. What? You're talking about duck, duck, go. Okay, go duck it.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's do that from now on. Okay.
So, any question we have can be answered.
Right.
Like,
it's remarkable.
It's unbelievably powerful.
Amazing times. Good and bad.
Yeah.